In this video, we are going to look at using augmented matrices with systems of linear equations. So in this first type of problem, you are being asked to write the augmented matrix for the system of linear equations. And so first of all, basically know that the equations are set up so that their variables are on the left side in alphabetical order and your constants are on the right. So a system would have to first be set up like that. Once it is, then in the augmented matrix, you're simply going to be putting your coefficients. So when I look at this first equation, 4 is the coefficient of x, so it would go in the first box. There's nothing in front of y, so it's understood to be a 1. That would go in the second box. 2 is in front of your z, so that would be there. Notice the line in the matrix is where the equal sign is, and then the constant would go on the right-hand side. So when I look at row 2, I have a 6, a -2, a -1, and then a 6 again. And then when I come and I look at this bottom row, I have what's understood to be a 1 in front of the x, -4, -8, and -9. So that is how you set up an augmented matrix. Now, if they give you an augmented matrix and they ask you to write the equation or the equations, this particular one just asks you to write it for the first row. I'm going to write it for all just so we can practice that. Then remember, they are in alphabetical order. The line is like your equal sign and the constants on the right. So the 3 would be the coefficient of your x. 0 would be the coefficient of your y. 2 would be the coefficient of your z, and we would say it's equal -10. Now, obviously, in simplest form, you would not have to show the 0y. You would just show that equation that 3x plus 2z is equal to -10. And that's all they asked for in that question, but let's do the next ones just to practice. So now on, when I look at row 2, 0 is the coefficient of x, 1 is the coefficient of y, -4 is the coefficient of z, and that's equal to 14. So again, we don't have to show the 0x. We technically don't have to show the 1 in front of the y. So in simplest form, we would write that second equation as y minus 4z is equal to 14. And then again, if I do the third equation for practice, 5 is the coefficient of x, 4 is the coefficient of y, 0 is the coefficient of z, and that is equal to 8. So in simplest form, I would have 5x plus 4y is equal to 8. Okay, and so on this last one, they're asking you to perform some matrix operations and to put the new numbers in the new matrix. So let's look at this first operation. They are telling me to take -4 and multiply it by row 1. So I'm going to put parentheses around row 1, put my -4 out to the side, and then we're going to add it to row 3. Now what I like to do, since I'm visual, is I like to, once I multiply it, so -4 times 1, if I know I'm adding it to row 3, I like to put that number right next to the number I'm going to add it to in just a minute. All right, and then I continue on. -4 times -1 is +4, so I'm going to put it right there and come back and add in a minute. And then -4 times +1 is -4 again. Come back and add. -4 times -1 is +4. Come back and add. And -4 times +4 is -16. So when you add those up, those new numbers will go into your new matrix, and they will go on row 3. So starting with 4 plus the -4, I get a 0. So that goes right there on row 3. 0 plus 4 is 4. 5 plus -4 is 1. 5 plus +4 is 9. And 11 plus -16 is -5. So that would be my new row 3. Now let's look at the second operation. So now on this second operation, they're asking me to take -7 times row 1. So I'm just going to cross that out, put a -7 next to row 1, and this time we're adding to row 4. So here again, as I multiply, negative 7 times 1 is negative 7. I'm going to put the numbers right next to what I'm going to add to in a minute. Negative 7 times negative 1 is positive 7. Negative 7 times positive 1 is negative 7. And negative 7 times negative 1 is positive 7. And then on my constant, negative 7 times 4 is a negative 28. So now when I go back and add those, these answers are going to go on the bottom row. So positive 7 plus negative 7 is a 0. 4 plus 7 is 11. 2 plus negative 7 is negative 5. Negative 8 plus 7 is negative 1. And finally, 5 plus the negative 28 is going to be a negative 23. Okay, and so then we didn't do anything to row 1, so we're just going to copy row 1 down the way it was. We didn't do anything to row 2, so we're just going to copy row 2 down the way that it was. I can't see that last number, which is a 0, and we are finished.